Katie Carew Switcheroo. Which switch? Super special Switcheroo. Chapter 4. Katie knew all about wishes coming true. It all started one horrible day back in 3rd grade. On that day, Katie had lost the football game for her team. She'd splashed mud all over her favorite jeans. Then, after that, George had made fun of her and called her a mud monster. But the worst part of the day came when Katie had let out a loud burp right in front of the whole class. It had been so embarrassing. That night, Katie had made a wish to be anyone but herself. There must have been a shooting star overhead when she made the wish, because the very next day the magic wind came. The magic wind was a really powerful tornado that blew only around Katie. It was so strong it could blow her right out of her body and into someone else's. The first time the magic wind blew, it turned Katie into Speedy, the hamster in their 3rd grade class. Katie spent the whole morning going round and round on a hamster wheel and chewing on Speedy's wooden chew sticks. They didn't taste very good at all. The magic wind came back again and again after that. Once it turned Katie into her cocker spaniel Pepper that had been so. Here are the pictures. So, little cat pumpkin, the magic wind, and her cocker spaniel that knocked over a nut. That had been so strange. Katie had gone to the bathroom on a fire hydrant, eaten half of a true bagel off the street, and got into a big fight with a nut-throwing squirrel. And that was nothing compared to the time Katie turned into Susan, just as Susan was about to go on stage for her big modeling show. Somehow Katie had managed to put Susan's leather pants on backwards, and she had really tough time walking in those high-heeled shoes. A lot of the kids from school had been there to see Susan model. That meant they'd seen what a mess Katie had made of things. When it was all over, Susan was really embarrassed and confused. She had no idea that it hadn't been her up there on the runway. It had been Katie. Something awful always happened when Katie switcherooed in someone else, like the time the magic wind turned Katie into Emma W. That time Katie actually lost to me and Tyler. Emma could have gotten into big trouble if Katie hadn't found the boys just before the magic wind returned and switcherooed her back into herself. That was why Katie didn't make wishes anymore. Then, when they came true, it really made a mess of things, especially a wish like Cadam's. As much as Katie loved Halloween, she didn't want Cadam's wish to come true. She didn't want every day to be Halloween. Then the holiday wouldn't be special anymore. Katie looked up at the big blackboard in front of the room. Mr. G was busy writing the date of WFT, word for today, on the board. Monday, October 27th, WFT petrify. Katie didn't have to wait for Miss D to write down the definition of the word. She already knew all about being petrified. That was exactly how she felt every time the magic wind came. Make sure, I forgot this picture to show you. This is the next chapter, chapter 5. Just so you know, if I don't post any more videos about these, it's because I have to take an AR quiz on this tomorrow, so I have to finish it tonight. So it's going to be really hard to do videos and read this whole entire book at the same time. So I might just have to do some of these all in one. So I'll do chapter 5 and chapter 4 together. So what candy is your mom giving out this year for Halloween? Susan asked Katie later that afternoon as the girls walked toward Katie's house. We're going to start planning their costumes. I'm not sure. I think she bought some bubble gum and those little chocolate bars. Katie replied. You're so lucky, Suzanne told her. My mom is giving out pencils. Hardly anyone comes to my house to trick or treat. Meow, meow. Just as the girls reached Katie's house, they noticed something moving in one of the bushes. A little black kitten poked its head out from between the leaves and scampered quickly across a nearby lawn. Oh, look at that kitty, Katie scolded. It's so tiny. Whose cat is it? Suzanne asked. I don't know, Katie replied. I've never seen it before. A look of concern crossed her face. It's not wearing a collar. Do you think it could be stray? Who knows, Susan replied. Come on, let's go inside. Maybe we can get your mom to take us to the mall right now. We got to get going on those costumes. Susan, how can you think about costumes when the poor little kitty is probably all alone in the world? I'm going to get her some milk. No, Susan shouted out. Why not? Katie asked. She looks hungry. Katie, you can't go anywhere hungry. Here's the picture. Here's the kitty. Here is Suzanne and Katie and Katie's house. Katie, you can't go anywhere near that kitten, Susan insisted. If you do, you'll ruin everything. What are you talking about? Katie asked. That black cat, Susan explained. Black cats are bad luck, huh? Susan shook her head. It's a disbelief. Don't you know about black cats? If one crosses your path, you'll have bad luck. We'll probably lose the Halloween contest. Kitty sighed, but she began. You have to stay away from that black cat, Susan insisted. She folded her arms across her chest. Otherwise, we can't be partners anymore. Katie frowned. It had been Susan's idea to be partners to begin with. Katie would have been just a happy being a cocker spaniel for Halloween. But she had already agreed to be the Wicked Witch of the West, and she couldn't go back on her promise. Okay, I'll stay away from the kitten, Katie assured her friend. Good, Susan said. Anyway, that was my dog. Anyway, I'm sure the kitten's mother is somewhere. She'll take care of her. Katie sighed as she heard the kitten meowing sadly from the side of the house. It sure didn't sound like her mother was nearby. It sounded like the kitten was lost and all alone. Now about our costume, Susan said, pulling Katie's attention away from the kitten. Like I said, I'm going to wear my fancy tutu, and I thought I would go to the mall and buy a glittery magic wand and magic crown. Cool, Katie said. You'll look really pretty. I know, Susan agreed. Now we need to make sure you look really scary. We'll have to get a really tall black witch hat and one of those witch costumes, you know, the kind that comes in a bag. They usually have a dress. Hold on. A dress and a cap in them. Oh, I'm not going to buy my costume, Katie told her. I'm going to make it, like I do every year. But Katie, this isn't fair every year. This year we're going to win the Halloween contest at school, Susan insisted, and it isn't going to be easy. I overheard Jeremy Fox telling Manny Lopez and Sam McDowell that he was building a robot costume out of a real metal. Whoa, Katie exclaimed. Jeremy always has the best costumes. His aunt helps him, that's why. Susan said knowingly. Excuse me. She designed costumes for plays in New York. My mother told me so. If we're going to beat him, you'd better buy your witch dress. No way, Katie insisted. Don't worry, my mom and I will make something really cool. We'll go to the fabric store at the mall tonight and pick out some really cool creepy black cloth. All right, as long as you're sure it will be scary, Susan agreed. I promise, Katie vowed. Maybe I should come along, Susan continued, just so I can see if the costume is good enough. Katie sighed. Susan was so bossy sometimes. But there was no point in arguing with her. She was going to come anyway. Whatever you want, Katie told her friend. She tried to sound excited about shopping, but the truth was, all she could think about was that poor little kitty. That was the end of chapter 5 and the end of chapter 4. So next we'll do chapter 6 and 7 on our next video. So make sure to stay tuned with that, and I'll be right here waiting for you guys. Yes, the closet will be closed in the next video. That's why I kept on looking at the camera. I was like, and then I was like, my dresses are so small.